What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hustling Sideways podcast. I'm Alan Halas. I'm a music writer.
And I'm Jim Love, and I'm a keynote and motivational speaker.
And we're hanging out today because we actually just finished the episode that's going to come out next week. But we also have a bonus episode for you today.
You know how these work, right?
Yeah, by now you should. When we don't have guests on the show, we talk about our side hustles.
That's right.
And our passion projects and things we've gone through in our careers. And today, because we are in a new location for today's show, we're going to talk about changing things up when we got to pivot.
We are referencing the Friends episode.
There's a staircase right below us that I've had to pivot.
I'm not like a big Friends guy. The show's not
but everybody knows that.
But that part is
everybody knows that part of that show. Yeah,
no doubt. But that's what we're going to talk about.
Yes. So we're going to talk about times that you've had to pivot in your career, and like I know we've talked before about adjusting and changing your game plan up a little bit. This I'm talking about, like we've both had to make hard pivots and just be like, we're doing something different. So I don't know. Do you want to kick it off? Otherwise, I've got one.
Fired up. Yeah.
So I was actually talking to somebody earlier today about something, and it's wild to me. I had this revelation that people still reference COVID as like everything changed during COVID. Of like, we were talking about something completely different, but they're like, oh yeah, it was before COVID. It's wild to think COVID was already 6 years ago. And
messed up.
It is like the before and the after times, and that's it. We've never seen anything like it. But that was also one of the first times that breaking and entering really had to pivot what we were doing, because we were consistently doing concerts. We were doing regular shows. That was a big part of the business model. We were going to festivals. We actually had just gotten one of our writers had gotten approved to go down to South by Southwest.
South by Southwest, yeah, that's right.
We had to pivot how we did our content because the world shut down. So concerts obviously didn't happen, but we had to kind of do it on the fly. And one of those big pivots, though, is that we started doing more. We bought podcast mics. And that led indirectly to this podcast. That's
how this came about,
But it also led to us doing an online radio show, which got picked up by radio stations like around the country. So that was very cool. We were on, at one point, I think 30 or 40 radio stations, like digital stations.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Around the country for not enough money. There was no money involved.
There wasn't money, so not enough or none?
None.
Oh,
it was none.
Okay.
But we also started doing like live streams and Twitch.
Yeah.
Even so, these cameras that we use for this podcast became streaming cameras, and I figured out how to do that setup. But after that, it also changed the way that I did concerts, because I was also doing, this is where the hard pivot came in. I was trying to do multiple months in one location.
Yep.
And, literally we had Tonic Tavern in Bayview, which isn't there anymore. It's Milwaukee Brewing Company now. We were doing October through April. Every month we had a show. So basically when their patio wasn't open, we were going to do a show.
Yep.
It made me realize we should be doing them in different venues around the city and have a larger spread of the city.
That's right. Yeah.
So it changed my content. It changed how I did my live shows, did everything. But it also ushered in like an entirely new era of what music coverage was for me.
Yeah.
Because I realized that was also when I got my job in media full time. So yes, we can all say COVID was a pivot, but it also made me realize that I could have my company and then also pursue a career in music journalism, and those things didn't overlap.
Yep.
If I was going to do something significant, it was going to have to involve a larger entity.
Right.
And that led me to the Shepherd Express, which then led me to On Milwaukee, where I'm at now.
Love that.
And it ushered in a whole new phase of my career, all from just basically saying you can't keep doing the same thing that you're doing because the world won't let that happen.
You have to change. Yeah. I mean, naturally, I have a similar example. That you couldn't speak at a school or a conference when they weren't in session. And I remember the first couple months of that being like, I got to do something. Like I'm just like in my house, just like going nuts or whatever. And I'm like, I have to. And so finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna make videos and send them to a school that wants them.
Yeah.
And I ended up reaching out to a lot. I had like probably 85 or 100 contacts of schools I'd worked with in the past, and sent them an email. I'm like, would this help you?
Yeah.
And half of them responded, or maybe more than half of like, yes, please do.
Wow.
So I just made a bunch of videos, and they were all the same message, frankly, so it wasn't that hard. But I would send them like a 10-minute YouTube video, And they got like a ton of traction from their students. They were just like, this is a message during this time, if you will.
Yeah.
And then I started to do a lot of virtual keynotes. And at first, like, I couldn't stand it. It was like obnoxious. But then I realized like how to do it. And I was like, you look at the camera, not at them. And it got me really good at like presenting virtually. You know,
right.
Like, it was something I had to do and get good at. But that worked out well. Like, it was fine. I did probably 40 of those, and it made it work. But something a little bit more micro than that is I've had so many times where I've been on a stage, and either because of timing or the audience reception, I've pivoted the whole thing of what I'm doing.
Just changed the whole lineup of what you're doing.
You could just tell within 5 minutes what's going to work with a crowd and what's not going to.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, if I have, let's say that a school books me for an hour and they're running late,
right,
and that time is just ticking down, I'm watching the crowd and I'm like, okay, I got to take that away. I can't do that anymore. And like, I remember one time, like, they were 20 minutes late in getting me on, this one school.
Yeah.
So my whole talk changed. Like, and I had to like decide in the moment of what I was going to do.
Because you still had to fit in your
I had to do my thing in
in
40 minutes or whatever. And so like you have to just get good at that and be comfortable with like improv. So like when I go up now, like if I could tell maybe someone was up right before me, I could tell what this crowd's going to be doing and like how they're going to react to what I'm saying. And so I'm thinking, like, I know my content. I'm thinking of that. Like, before I go, the reason why I'm nervous is like, well, I got to take that away. I got to take that away. What's going to work? And so I've specifically had moments like I had about 2 months ago, I gave a Sunday morning keynote, which was just a brutal,
interesting.
Yeah, just a crappy,
interesting time frame for
crappy time to bring me in.
And
I could just tell this group they were a retreat. They were coming away for breakfast. They were leaving in 2 hours to go home.
Oh no,
this was not going to happen in the way I wanted to. So I did a really quick energizer, and then I did like more of a solemn, reflective thing versus going cray. It just wouldn't work, like, so if 10 years ago I would have been like, I gotta do my thing, we're gonna go nuts, and these students were just like not having it. So you gotta like pivot in the sense of being aware of your surroundings,
right,
where you're at and what you're gonna be doing. But I could tell really quickly what a crowd's gonna do and how they're gonna react. And by the way, like, if I'm not funny, then I'll know, and I'm like, all right, I won't talk about that anymore.
Right,
like, fair enough. And that's what we do. I'm actually, in about 2 weeks, my high school in Chicago is having like a big gala, like a fundraising gala.
Sure.
And I'm hosting it, which is, it's like 400 people. It's going to be, but it's like professional, like a wedding type of thing. So they asked me to do it, and I was like, well, I'm not going to do the wave. When I get there, like, this is a different crowd. I'm going to bring some energy, but it's going to be a lot different. So like, I'm now thinking about like what that crowd will be like,
right, what's
going to work. But also, I'm not the first one up there. So like, someone's going to introduce me, and I'm like, all right, what's this crowd receptive to? And then like, as the night goes on, I have a script, but I'm gonna do my own flair and just know what's gonna hit as it goes on. So that's gonna be, I'm excited for that, because that's really improv, and I'm gonna pivot in the moment.
I like that.
Like, okay, where am I gonna go? And it's more of like a challenge where I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. And if it doesn't land, it doesn't land. It's not that big of a deal. But they want me to be excited about it, so I'm gonna go. But I think pivoting, like, of course, COVID had to pivot a lot.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more like where I'm at in that moment of like, I know that what I've planned will not work. Like,
for sure.
I think if you're a good speaker, like a really good speaker, that you have to potentially abandon your game plan within a minute because you were wrong.
Right.
Like,
well,
if you plan something and it wasn't right, then you have to pivot.
Yeah, and pivoting is really recognizing something is not working.
That's right.
I mean, exactly. that is at the core of what that really is realizing something's not working, and changing course to try and make it successful.
Like carrying a couch up the stairs.
Yes.
What do you do with it?
Gotta pivot.
So it's important. I think if you're going after a passion and something's either working or not, well, maybe in this case not. Yeah. How are you going to pivot versus just being like, well, I suck. Like, I'm done. Like, what are you going to do to make it work? If you care about it enough, you have to. And nobody's ever right on the first try. Totally. It's very rare. I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, in any aspect of what you're doing with the business. Mm-hmm. So let us know. Yeah. If you have your own side hustle, small business, all those things. How are you pivoting? What are you doing to pivot? How are you going to get up those stairs? So let us know. In the meantime, we are. Of a hustling side. I just banged the microphone. So that's fine. Made a loud noise. I'll edit it out. You're good. Right, it's edited out. We're good. Yeah. We are the Hustling Sideways podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on all the social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, all those places as well. If you want to be a guest on the show and hang out possibly with us here in the bar, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be perfect. You can do that. You can send us an email. It is hustlingsideways@gmail.com. And Jim, keep on hustling. We'll see you next week. Peace.